Gulf Ubulu community in Delta State as suspected kidnappers kill first-class Monarch. More drama as court grants Onisametu 300 million naira bail condition with 2 sureties, just as Dasuki's trial is stalled. Benue and Nasarawa state herdsmen agree on ceasefire after years of communal clashes. And South Africa faces its worst drought in the region in 30 years.
And on business news tonight, Nigeria's Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, defends federal government's planned borrowing for 2016 budget.
And on sports news tonight, African Nations Championship Group C thrown wide open as group opponents Nigeria, Tunisia, Niger and Guinea settle for draws.
And from Abuja, I'm Linda Akibe. Tonight, Minister of Power, Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola challenges stakeholders, suggests pumping of the nation's 3 billion naira pension funds on infrastructure development.
We begin tonight on a sad note from Delta State, where a youth protest has engulfed Ubulu town over the kidnap and eventual killing of their first-class traditional ruler. His Royal Majesty Obi Akeze Ofuluwe III was held for about 2 weeks by his abductors, but his body was found in the thick bush of Umunede, Eka local government area on Thursday morning. The community now mourns while youths in the area have taken to the streets, raising fears that this may snowball into lawlessness. The atmosphere in Ubulu community is now tense as young men in the area express their grief as they wield machetes and tree branches. In the meantime, the police has called for calm, just as the governor of the state, Ifeanyi Okowa, gives assurances that those behind the heinous crime will be apprehended and punished.
This is the atmosphere in Ubulu community earlier today. Young men in the area burning with anger as they wielded machetes and tree branches, agonizing over the brutal killing of their Obi.
I lost my king, so I know they're happy for years. So
it all started on January the 5th with reports that the Obi of Ubulu, His Royal Majesty Edward Akeze Ofuluwe III, was kidnapped while riding in an SUV alongside a friend. Eyewitness reports say some suspected cattle rustlers had kidnapped the Obi and headed for the forest.
You've said they need money. Ubulu people, they're ready to give them money, but they don't need money now. Arrangements.
The Delta State Police Command says it swung into a swift chase, combing the perimeter around the Igbodo bush, but their best efforts could neither locate nor produce the Obi.
The Obi was kidnapped on the 5th of January when we intercepted of the information of the kidnap of the Obi. Our kidnapping section, anti-kidnapping section, have been working around the clock to get the kidnappers and possibly arrest all of them and rescue the victim on hot.
Days later, villagers told the police they have located the Obi's SUV abandoned along the roadside. Soon, 2 bodies are found in Umunede, and the people's worst fears are confirmed, sending waves of anger and sorrow across the kingdom.
It is sad that on the 21st, Umunede police station got information from His Royal Highness Obi of Umunede that 2 corpses were found at their land between Delta and Edo boundary, where the men went to share land for farming. We took interest. The pictures were taken. When the pictures were brought, there was a man that was with the Obi that very day he was kidnapped. We called the family. The man was invited. The picture was shown. And he confirmed that one of the corpses is the Obi of Ubulu.
As the people of Ubulu Kingdom mourn the passing of their revered monarch, the police urged them to remain calm while promising to hunt down and punish the perpetrators. Kayode Alayande, Channels Television News.
In the meantime, the governor of Delta State, Ifeanyi Okowa, has condemned in strong terms the killing of the monarch of Ubulu, His Royal Majesty Obi Edward Ofuluwe III. The governor, through the office of his chief press secretary, said the death of the monarch has opened a sacrilegious dimension in the state's history. He vowed that he would ensure incidents of abductions are thoroughly investigated. The governor went further to say, "It's sad that a reigning king was abducted, but an unheard-of fact is his murder in the most dehumanizing circumstances by his abductors in the forest. I have ordered an inquiry into this abominable act, and I call on Deltans, particularly the kingdom and the security agencies, to work together to unearth the culprits." End of quote. We move away from that story where Fulani herdsmen and Tiv Agatu farmers from Benue and Nasarawa states have resolved to settle their differences amicably instead of resorting to self-help and violence. This was the agreement reached among representatives of the ethnic groups occupying border communities in Nasarawa and Benue states at a joint Security Council meeting held in Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital. Governors of the two states restated the need for both parties to settle their disputes through the Joint States Peace and Reconciliation Committee.
Governor Tanko Almakura of Nasarawa State and his Benue State counterpart, Samuel Otom, joined leaders of Miyetti Allah, a social-cultural association of Fulani herdsmen and traditional rulers from Tiv and Agatu communities at the joint security and peace meeting of the two states. Governor Samuel Otom, in his opening remarks, recounts a similar effort made in maintaining peace between the state and Taraba State.
Today, our border with Taraba State were very cordial, and we are maintaining peace in these two states. Nasarawa State and Benue State were also maintaining peace. For me, this meeting is going to strengthen and identify certain loopholes and leakages and then block them.
A successful meeting, and Governor Almakura reels out the resolutions reached.
The two states should tackle this problem frontally, intensify surveillance and patrol activities in their border areas, identify the perpetrators, sponsors, financiers of these heinous crimes, and be made to face the full wrath of the law.
The parties in the region violence in and around Nasarawa and Benue communities promise they will impress it on their members to always resolve amicably all forms of misunderstanding.
We are going to do it with the assistance of the security, so that we should call the youth of Agatu, the youth of Tif, the youth of Fulani, so that we should sit down with them and tell them the importance of peace.
We believe in dialogue. And this dialogue has given us a lot of good mind towards solving problems. Right now, it is noted that we will definitely get home and talk to our people for peace.
The security of lives and property may have improved significantly in border communities of the two states. And with this meeting comes the belief that efforts will be made to prevent future attacks.
We move on to legal matters, where trial was again stalled in the case of alleged laundering of about 19 billion naira leveled against the former National Security Advisor, Colonel Sambo Dasuki. The adjournment follows an application filed by the former NSA asking for a stay of proceedings pending his release from custody of the Department of State Services. Opposing the application, counsel to the EFCC, Rotimi Jacob, asked the court to refuse the application on the grounds that Section 396 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act states that a defendant shall be arraigned, and after pleading not guilty, the matter shall be heard daily. He added that the judge could hear a motion from the defendants while proceeding with the case, but a prayer for stay of proceedings should not be allowed.
The immediate past National Security Advisor, Colonel Sambo Dasuki, and his co-accused persons filing into the courtroom at an Abuja High Court. But his trial on charges of diversion of public funds and money laundering could not commence because his lawyers filed an application for a stay of proceedings in his case pending his release from detention. The prosecutor, Rotimi Jacobs, however, asked the court to reject the application on the ground that Section 396 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act states that a defendant shall be arraigned upon allegations, and after pleading not guilty, the matter shall be heard daily. Jacob argued that the judge could hear an application by the defendant while proceeding with the case, but the prayer for stay of proceedings should not be entertained.
Under the new law, that is, it doesn't envisage this kind of delay, that a party will come with an application few days to his trial and trying to block the case. It should not be that should not be the attitude of the new law.
On his part, counsel to Colonel Dasuki, Joseph Daudu, told the courts that the application should be strongly regarded as it contains allegations of an abuse of the rules of the court. He said he has been unable to meet with his client since he was rearrested. He said he was only able to see his client following Thursday's order, which directed that Colonel Dasuki be produced in court.
The application is called an unless order. That is, unless the Federal Republic of Nigeria obeys the order releasing him on bail, it means the court cannot help them in any way. So because you cannot be in disobedience of an order of court and then still ask the court for an indulgence. So that's the application. And so he can't be in a hurry to do his case on his own terms. The terms has to be according to the rules of justice.
However, when the other three accused persons told the court that they have not been served with the application, Justice Hussein Baba Yusuf ruled that the application was not ripe for hearing. He therefore adjourned the case to the 4th of February 2016. I'm Makao Kafo, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, Lagos State government confirms 1 death from Lassa fever. That's in a moment. Do stay with us.